Hey everybody, what's going on around here? I'm Tommy and you're on the boat. Hope you're having a good day. It's been a day. No question. Can't get around it. It's been a day. Let's see who we got here, shall we? Holy crap, there's a lot of you here already. Cindy Plumley, good to see you. Megan Jeffrey, what's happening? Just me being me. Good to see you. Good to see you. Megan Jeffrey, glad you're here. Motherbird, you're going to be a grandmother. Congratulations, Grandma. No, you can yell. That's legit. That's completely legit. Jason P., thanks for all you do, bud. Thank you for all you do. Sassy Savage, glad you're here. Anna Strews. Yeah, I'm really happy for you. That's awesome. Sweet Liberty, good to see you. Comma, chameleon. I think Karma Chameleon says what's on everybody's mind, right? Congrats. Let's see who else we got. Diddy Dazzle. Dangerous Journeyman. Makes a really mean Afghan, I'll tell you what. Rick Spicer, how are you? Kristen Melinda, what's up, Jeff? Anna, you're still awake? Anna. Damn. Thoughts and prayers that Anna gets to sleep one of these days. I'm really worried about that. Trust but document. Good to see you. Hey, Aunt KK. Good to see you. Glad that you're here. Bill Herrera. Yeah, I'm working a little overtime. Johnny Scrubble's in the house. That's always a good thing. Joyce Kirby. How you doing? Monique H. Glad you're here, Monique. David from Australia. Always love the Down Under crew. Got a bunch of you. Leads me to think you're all on drugs. I'm kidding. Layla, another person that does not sleep. Barbara Waite, Northern Michigan. It makes me want to bust into a song by Kid Rock. I bet you guys sing that. Subi, Deadhead, Incarna Soul, Hamster Heifer, Charlie Smut, Liz Tricks. Good to see you, Charlie Smut. Caroline in Canada. Charlotte Evans, good to see you. David. Hey, Casey's here. Hey, Tina. Wow. Huh? Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you, Tina. That's awesome. Thank you for spending it with us. That's awesome. I really appreciate you. I really do. That's awesome. Hey, Caitlin. McKenna, how you doing? I am a Cordy. Bliss and Zoe, Purple Groovy, Kelly. Gerling, how you doing, Monique? I saw that. B. Cooper. AJ Coleman. From England. We love it. Love it. We're getting, we get a fairly decent collection of people from England these days. Allison Metcalf Colombo. Good to see you. Sorry about my modulating of the voice, people. I worked from a stage for a long time. I tend to project, so I apologize. If I blow your ears off every once in a while. Virginia Jones, how are you? People, I'm going to make some people upset today. Teresa R., and I don't want to, but this is one of those subject matters. Here's the deal. I'm going to talk about this, and you guys are going to crap all over me. And it's you people who wrote me all the emails. See, you guys don't want to say it out here, but I get emails from you people that say, you know what, I don't believe so-and-so, or I'm really having a struggle. I want to, but I can't believe so-and-so. And I get a lot of those emails. Sassy Savage says, I felt like we got a head start on Atwood. Let's go. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about that. I really am. Christy Covington, good to see you. I'm pretty fired up about that. I like the idea of doing some interviews. You know what I mean? Happy birthday, Tina. I like the idea of doing some interviews and getting some things, starting that whole process. There are some people that I would really like to interview concerning what's going on currently. Kiki, how are you? Virginia Jones, I want to ask some questions of some people, and they're your questions. Straight up, they're your questions. So don't shoot the messenger, because I am going to. I am definitely. Oh, thank you, Diane. I appreciate that. No, you know something? I want to believe, right? My Sharona? Is that My Sharona? Did you change your name, My Sharona? Well, good to see you. Either way, good to see you. Hey, Cindy G. Wow, that's awesome. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Leo, what am I doing? Boy, I got two screens and I can only touch one of them. Oh, Caitlin, that's a kind thing to say. I think that it's going to be fun. I'm going to ask some questions that you people wish you could have asked. And some of the questions, I understand that people are going to go, I can't answer that, right? I can't answer that. There's a lot of questions that we're going to get hit with, I can't answer, and you can't argue that. All of us here, I guarantee you, everybody here wants to believe anyone who's been through this, right? The stuff that these people have been through, no one wants to be that person to go, not buying it, right? That's a tough thing to do, man. Oh no, that is the worst. If you've never been through that, hey, Woofy, hold on one second. I got to get a cat. Squirrel nut zipper. Sorry, people had the door shut. SE Mac, 2:10 a.m. Wow. Hey, Bulldog LLC, good to see you. It's 2:10 a.m. in Scotland, but I can't sleep. Then a notification comes through for this. Staying awake. All right. Welcome to the boat. I'm glad you're here. So, don't shoot the messenger, but we're going to talk about some things. And it's okay. It's okay to say things like, you know what? The people who see an opportunity and pile on make it so much harder for real victims. You know something? This is an excellent statement. And I'll tell you something that we need to keep in mind from Jump Street. All right. Honestly, we got to do better about this. Everybody's got to do better about this, right? In my humble opinion, we have all got to do better about this. We don't want to doubt anybody, right? We really don't. But you have to understand too that anybody that's going through what victims go through, you're talking about an unbelievable amount of trauma, right? What could be more traumatic, honestly? So very often people are going to be dealing with trauma in different ways, right? So sometimes you watch somebody and you get really used to them, right? You watch Jaguar Wright, and Jaguar's been through a hell of a lot, and you watch the things that she says and how she says it. When the next guest comes on, we kind of look for Jaguar 2.0, right? We want to see somebody that talks the same way, does the same stuff, because that's going to make us feel comfortable, right? But there are, okay. Let's start it off then. I am having a serious problem seeing Adria English as a victim, when she seemed to be a willing participant. I'll tell you something, that she didn't do an amazing job in that interview, right? I'm not sitting here trying to say that I don't know what was going on. If you really want to know the truth, I don't know what was going on with that. It was very uncomfortable. Did anyone else get that vibe? Huh? Was it me? Am I the only one? I know which one of you did because you sent me emails. I'm not going to out you. It's all good, but you know who you are. No, I think a lot of people felt really weird watching that. We got to give a little bit of grace, right? We have to give grace based on the fact that these people are working through some very, very serious trauma, right? For real. And I think that needs to be taken into account always. Witchy Trista, good to see you. Sunset Salty Sage. SoCal friend. They found her tape and showed the pastor. Okay. Comment, I'm sorry, but I have to say I'm so lost on how Oprah, with her poor me story, ended up so damn powerful. She has always felt like a joke to me. I can't get it. She's not scary to me. Well, what if she were possessing tapes of you, right? Because this is becoming a popular theory. It's becoming a popular theory that this entire industry is set up in such a way that they don't want talent to stand on their own 2 feet. They want talent to be completely beholden to the people that give them the job. And we saw how this was done in the Diddy case. They did everything in their power to really humiliate all of the parties that were starting to the people that were starting off in the industry. It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to just be cruel, right? Snake, good to see you. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Grammy, how are you? Giovanni's Pikachu, always a pleasure. So she blackmails too, says Sassy Savage. Well, that's the theory. This is becoming very popular. And the reason that that's a theory is it's hard to figure out how the woman amassed the fortune that she did. It really is a legitimate thing to, it's tough because she put a lot of money out, right? That on things that didn't go great. Now, she had a great contract from, she gets some endorsements that are worth a hell of a lot of money, but $1 billion? $1 billion. Like the talk show was really a Jerry Springer kind of a setup in the early days. So we're all thinking it. I'm asking, how many cases did she preside over in that Philly court? I don't buy it. You know what? Thank you. You know what? Someone's got to draw first blood. He's referring to. I assume he's referring to the story that we heard from Jaguar Wright, where he could decide a man's fate or a woman's fate, I guess, for that matter, in the courtroom. She could show up and do this, and they'd send them to prison. She did this; they were walking out the door. I have been emailed about this. I have been emailed about this. You are not the only person. See, Jeremy Fowler thinks he feels the same way. A lot of you have reached out to me about this. That's one that a lot of you seem to have a problem with. Another one that you guys seem to struggle with, since you guys aren't putting them up there and you're leaving me out here. No, I'm sorry. Her school was definitely wired for sound until they needed stuff, and then everything kind of disappears. That school was such a scary proposition. I couldn't tell you what was going on there. And I don't think anybody here could tell you what was going on there. But nobody here thinks it was legit. And allegedly, she protected somebody that had been victimizing kids for a long period of time because she didn't want to see her school get smutted up. You know, that lovely reputation she has for being such a kind person. You get a car. You get a car. You get a car. You get a car. Now, give me that $7,000 for tax, title, and license, right? Because that's what it cost. For real. You've heard that story, right? She gave away all those cars. It was $7,000, $7,500 or $7,600. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you got to pay tax, title, and license, I get it, but you're a freaking billionaire. Maybe don't let everybody on planet Earth think you actually gave cars to these people, right? All of these people that needed these cars so badly, right? There were great stories. This woman, can't get to work. This person can't get their kid to school. It's really tugs at the heartstrings, doesn't it? Tugs at the heartstrings. It's a shame. It's absolute BS. Hello, Elizabeth Miller. Good to see you. What about her best friend, Gail King? There's so much that swirls around this woman, right? So much that swirls around this woman. And it always comes back. I'm sorry. Always comes back to the T word, right? It always comes back to the T word. When she bought all this land over in Maui. And when the fires in Maui took place, you know that there's a lot of people a lot of youngsters that are allegedly missing. It also seems like these people show up in places where people who are missing may get picked up. You know what I mean? Look at Haiti, right? Right after everything bad happened in Haiti, everybody went smoking over there. Where's Stedman? If I had to guess, I would say he lives in that house, does not sleep in her room. That would be my guess. They don't seem like they're all that tight. They don't. Maybe he's the beard, right? Maybe she's more fond of ladies than she is men, and maybe Stedman's the beard so that everybody in the world doesn't think she's gay. Not a big deal today, right? In 2024, it wouldn't make a crap bit of difference. But when she first burst onto the scene, that kind of stuff would sideline a career, sadly. On Kardashians, at least Mom and Kim seem like they do anything for fame. So, yeah, you know something? Yeah, the Kardashians, at least mom and Kim. Okay, so listen, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do the last half hour on this. Anything goes. But I want to talk about the big names in this, right? I want to talk about the big names. We're going to start off with the first one here. And I want to know your opinions, man. You can write, you believe him or you don't believe him or anything along those lines. First person we're going with is Courtney Burgess. For those who do not know, he is the gentleman that just went up to testify at the grand jury. Claims that he's got a bunch of tapes. It's a term that was used. It's probably zip drives or whatever that has 8 famous people on it. 2 of them are women. The rest of them are men, and they are being assaulted in this. They all look like they had been drugged, and 2 of them look like they were underage. I'd like to know what you think. Hello, Caroline in Canada. Good to see you. Tushka, how are you? Hey, Cerise Wilson. Don't believe Courtney Burgess. Caitlin says, I think he's sus. Woofy believes. Here's what freaks me out a little bit. There's 2 authors to the book. There's a white guy and there's, alleged authors, people that were releasing it. Well, the gentleman who put out the first book, the PG one, said, I gave the book to Courtney. But that's not what Courtney said, right? Courtney had a very different story for how he got the book. And I understand. Yeah, you can go halfway on some. He had those for years and said nothing. Who just said that? Because that's really this is where I struggle the most. He had these for years and didn't do anything with them. How do you do that? Charlotte, I appreciate that. She says, I'm undecided about him. I'm scared, straight up scared. I really am. I'm scared that we get into this mindset where if someone comes out tomorrow and says, Diddy took me in a spaceship, right? We went to a different planet where he did X, Y, and Z. We're going to go, I believe him. I believe her, right? We're going to do that. And it's the right thing to do. It really is. It's the right thing to believe people until they shouldn't be believed. You should err on the side of the victim. You should. And if we get burned, we'll go, that sucks. We got burned, right? Lisa Trimble says, Chris Todd is creepy and he comes off as a liar. You know what? He is really creepy. I'm sorry, he is. Woofy says maybe he was scared. I believe that he could have been. And I think what Woofy means is, why did Courtney Burgess hang on to this stuff for so long, right? If he's sitting on this, why doesn't he turn it over? And do you buy the story that right? Something that someone said, if I pass away, you got to run with this, right? We've all talked about stuff like this. I would leave it with my attorney and I would say, if anything happens to me, send it to CNN, send it to Fox, right? You got that tape in your house. You got the little kit thing that goes along with it. In 2018, when she died, you wouldn't have whipped that thing out then and took a look at it. You would have taken a look at it the day you got it. I would have. I wouldn't. Here's the thing. If somebody gave you something and said, I don't want you to look at this or whatever, hell no. Get it out of my house. How do I know that what's on there isn't CP? You guys know what that is, right? Lands people in prison. How do I know what's on there? By the way, if everything he says is true, that there is CP on there. 2 people were underage, maybe 3. Chris Todd's biggest fan is Chris Todd. Here's the thing, right? Here's the one thing that I got to say. Well, does it smell like that or what? I have a feeling that that's exactly what happened. I think Chris Todd set up opinion. I'm not even saying allegedly. This is my opinion. Tracy says he's going to be arrested. You know what? You got to start thinking to yourself, how's he not going to be? Right? If what he's saying is true, you were in possession of that by your own admission since 2008. Now, we know that he didn't get it the way he said he got it. right? He got it from Chris Todd, and he probably got it a couple of months ago, right? But that's not the story that was given. The story that was given is had it in 2008, right? And then in 2018, maybe Kim gave it to Courtney to only release when Diddy was arrested. That's so funny. Honestly, that's really good stuff. Great. That's a good one. You got a good sense of humor. You know what? Interesting. Chris Todd gives me SF Investigates vibe. Another man that eerily inserts himself into missing kid cases. True story. True story, and I can understand why you would say that. Yeah. So many. This is the truth, right? This is the truth. So many just do that. I don't hear anything. It's like I don't see anything. I don't want to be a part of this. This is really disturbing. So I'm going to forget it. I'm going to act like it's not happening. Can't do that anymore, people. Why didn't Courtney Burgess mail it or something anonymously? Honestly, make a couple of copies, whip one off to CNN, right? If what you were trying to do is get the word out, that would have been a great way to do it. How about if you put up a website and said, come see it. No harm, no foul, no money. Just come and check it out. It's not going to cost you $1. But you start looking like a mercenary, right? When you become the #1 selling book on Amazon, right? Think about that. This was the #1 selling book completely across the platform on Amazon. That's rowdy. Why didn't J-Lo warn anybody? Well, Ashton Kutcher. There's the same type of thing, right? Here's what happens. The reason that they don't say anything is it's going to destroy their career, right? It's going to destroy their career in their head. I don't want to be associated with this. For the rest of my career, they're just going to think about the fact that I was at a murder scene. Ashton Kutcher allegedly walked into a murder scene, saw a girl that he had been dating laying on the floor. He didn't do it. He didn't. The Hollywood slasher did. But his BSing allowed the Hollywood slasher to keep doing what he was doing for a couple more years, which is pretty damn distressing when you think about what those people out there were doing, right? He was victimizing people. Courtney said he never read it, and then said what he read was, he also said, I never looked at any of the pictures. He did. He has an ability to kind of backpedal that's going to get him in trouble. It really is. I didn't look at any of the pictures. Right? Didn't look at them. But there are 6 men, 2 women. They all look as if they've been drugged, and they all look as if they're being victimized. 2 of them look like they're underage. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me at all. Right? Diddy. Somebody else said this to me earlier, right? And I think this is kind of how, to me, this is BS. For real. If this was a solid stand-up thing that you were trying to do for Kim Porter, wouldn't you hook up the kids or do something for give it to victims of domestic violence, right? Or our survivors or people that survive SA. I really wanted to help. We made a crap load of money in about 6 weeks. And now we're going to release a second copy of it because the first one didn't have any names in it, right? We spelled it out and we gave you a good idea of what was going to be there. But now we're going to sell wave 2. And what makes us think there isn't going to be a, holy crap, you know what we found? There's like 80 more pages of this, right? Honestly, what's to stop it? The book diverts attention away from other big players, and it's working. You know something? Can you argue that? It's a great argument. It's a great argument. Do you think Chris Todd gave Courtney B his backstory for the KP book? It's a really, really interesting question, isn't it? I don't get the vibe that Courtney is a mastermind in this. I'm not being disrespectful, by the way, in any way. He just seems to me like he might have gotten steamrolled. Oh, I think the diddler hid tapes. You betcha. I think the diddler hid tapes. to be sure. I think that there's still stuff out there. I think he's not dumb enough to not have a suicide switch of some kind, right? A dead man switch of some kind. It's a really, it's a tough thing, but I believe he would have had to. Ariel is the source of the BS. For those who are not sure who Ariel is, that would be the attorney that has been representing Courtney Burgess. I've never met anybody that said, "Oh, I get a really great vibe off her." She kind of has this. I just stopped chasing an ambulance about 30 seconds ago vibe. Is it me? Is it me? Tell me. If I'm being a jerk, let me know. But I get an ambulance chaser vibe big time off of that woman. I'm sorry. I really do. Comment. Just feel like until we get all the lists of names, Epstein, Weinstein, Diddy, things will never change. I understand exactly why you would say that. Badger life. Badger life. Where there's smoke. I'm not accusing anybody of anything, right? Boy, oh boy, he likes the word chicken though. He works that crap into virtually everything he does, and does a lot of stuff with pizza too. He's a very odd cat, Seth Green. Very, very odd cat. Yeah, you know what? I think Anna nailed this. Deadhead says Ariel's dodgy AF, and absolutely, there's no way to shoot that down. Courtney is just being used as a pawn to be discarded, just like burn after reading. I think there's something to that. Ariel, the lawyer, is taking all the evidence from all of the witnesses accusing Diddy so she can clean up for those around him. What a great theory, honestly, because something doesn't work, right? Something just seems weird as hell to me. Look, before anybody gives me any crap, did you see the first time she went on TV? She came on and did an infomercial, right, for Catch and Kill. Hey, if you're a star and you're worried that there's there might be something out there, you might want to get a hold of us because we've got stuff and we're gonna settle right out of the back door, right? No paperwork. Come on, come down here and buy the tape. You got nothing to worry about. Does anybody remember that? It was creepy. Interesting. Do you think Diddy's attorney or attorneys watch this and other YouTube videos? They got somebody watching them. Bank on it. And the reason is if somebody gives something up that makes it sound like they could help the case, I would imagine that they're going to pick some of the dumbest things. If I were an attorney, I would go in there with a list of the dumbest thumbnails I've seen, right? You'll see a thumbnail with Oprah naked in bed with Diddy, right? And in the same bed, J-Lo is also naked. And they kind of black stuff out. There's no chance in hell that's not photoshopped, right? And badly photoshopped. But they will run anything. And I think that the disinformation campaign, which is probably not even intentional, it's gonna make things look bad. What do I think about the pizza stuff? I think it keeps coming back up. I think I don't want to believe it at all. And I haven't wanted to believe it for a long time. And then you watch talk shows and you see people come on and they go, you know who makes the best pizza? So-and-so makes the best pizza. Oh, that pizza. And it sounds fake. It sounds like me and my brother back in the day talking about drugs in front of people and using code words. I mean, that's the vibe I get. And it's not one star. It's a crap load of stars. And it's not one talk show. It's a bunch of talk shows. They love talking about how good so-and-so makes pizza or the pizza party that so-and-so threw. I don't know, man. Maybe it's not what we think it is, but it ain't pizza. I promise you that. It ain't pizza. It is definitely, they're using it as a representation for something. Robin Lane says, Courtney seems sus. The whole book stuff is sus too. What's kind of weird is that if you've read the book, a lot of it is in dialogue, right? A lot of it is would be you and me talking. I journal a lot. Right? I journal every single day. twice a day at a minimum. And then usually I bust out some journal entries during the day. I've never put down dialogue, right? Even if I'm in the process of fighting with somebody, right? And really not getting along with somebody, if I said Robin Lane, right? Boy, Robin really made me mad. We got into an argument. But I'm not going to say Robin said this, I said this, and Robin said this, then I said this. Who writes like that? Honestly, do you put that in your because this isn't a book. If what they say is true, it's not a book. These are journal entries. Have you ever written down dialogue in a journal entry? Maybe it's just me that doesn't. For real. Sassy Savage says, I think the book is probably way more true than anyone wants it to be. Make no mistake, I don't doubt anything that's in that book. I just doubt who wrote it. You understand what I'm saying? I don't doubt anything in that book. I think that they had to have, honestly, people, this is, they had to have studied the case inside and out. Is it me? For real. And if you did study the case, if you listen to everything everyone's been saying, and they've been saying it for a hot minute, right? A lot of us did the first Diddy shows over a year ago. Some people did it even longer than that, right? So if you were to study everything that was going on, you could put a great book up after the fact. You know what I mean? Like now that he's arrested, he's in jail. Now you just go, boom, let's start writing it out, shall we? We'll just put together the book. All right, who's our cast of characters? All right, let's go with all of the ones that can't verify any of this because we got a lot of people that aren't alive, right? So we can write whatever we want for those people. Layla. My mother writes down any argument she's had so she will never forget why she is mad. Toxic way to live. Holy hell. Holy hell. That's just solid advice right there. That's just solid advice. Linda, you believe that entire book? I don't have a problem believing everything in the book. Do you believe how the book got into print? Do you believe that backstory for how this book got put into print? Because if you do, there's some prime beachfront property. I'm kidding. I'm just being a smart aleck because I live in Arizona, but I'm kidding. Ariel is representing the controller girl, the English girl, and Corey. And she was the one of the mainstream media started, the first one the mainstream media started to talk to. And she started with catch and kill with minors. Honestly, is that not what she started with? Was that not catch and kill with kids? How in hell does everybody not go, what the actual? And if you come in now, maybe we won't have to do any paperwork on this thing, right? We won't even have to fill anything out. You know, you want to go to court, you want your name dragged through the press, then what you need to do is come on down today, right? Here's the 800 number. Come down and sign off. Hey, Relatable Reese, how are you? Don't publishers give true story book authors a polygraph? Boy, if not, they should, huh? Honestly, but there's no publisher for this. You understand? There is no publisher for this. They're self-publishing. They're not bringing this to Penguin. Penguin, you know, Doubleday would have gone, get out of my office, right? Get out of my office. You know what? I think that there's a lot of people that feel like you feel. Hey, Quibs, I'm glad you're here. Reese and I took on a different sex cult. No joke. We're going to be probably revisiting that puppy on one of my shows, or maybe both of my shows. I'm not sure. Ariel should be charged as an accomplice after the fact. How could you argue that? For real. So what's the argument? Is the argument that these kids are now 30 so I can, now I can advertise a catch and kill? The person's not young anymore, right? And they want to protect their career. So you're selling somebody videos of themselves being assaulted. Is that what we're getting? Now, I think that what people have said and what people have led on is that what she's really selling is people that are too close, right, to the party. People they can't get busted for anything. There's no way they're going to get busted for anything. However, it's not a good look, right? Christine, good to see you. By the way, I'm not suggesting that that's the truth. In fact, it sounds like a crock of crap to me. It really does, but that's the story. The literary world is just as dirty. It's why bookstores hardly exist anymore. I believe that. We did open up a can of worms, man. We really did. But it was a heck of a lot of fun. It really was, wasn't it? We had a pretty good time doing it. Aqua, new to the channel? Wow, my third time posting. I kept making typos. Well, we will put your typos up for the world to see if you do it. We're pretty big on embarrassing people here. I'm kidding. Gail. Tommy, are you working with Sean Atwood weekly or daily? Good Lord, you want me to work over there daily? Might be hard to run both of them. I am going to be going over there once a week on my own show, right? That will be the Tommy Scoville show or whatever. I may from time to time do a show with Sean. Maybe we'll talk about a sex cult. We may do shows together. I think we got a really decent chemistry. The two of us come across pretty well on film. At least this is what I've been told. I get that email as much as I get. I don't believe Courtney Burgess, which I'm telling you is the second biggest email that I got. That's why we let off with him. Ouch, Kabibble. Ouch. This is the kind of stuff that so a follower of Rabbit, I don't know if you guys know Rabbit. Rabbit really does a great job with the same kind of stuff that we do here. She's got a channel called Down the Rabbit Hole, and Rabbit's got the hang of it. A follower of Rabbit shared a story from over a year ago where Ariel Mitchell Kidd was accused of bribing a woman to be an SA witness for a different rapper and then dropped the client. Is that the one you're talking about? Because I read that entire thing too. And boy, oh boy, if you know that there are text messages out there, right, that shoot your case to hell, you're not supposed to try to hide those. And I'm not accusing any attorney of trying to hide it. I'm not saying that that Ariel Mitchell Kidd did that. I'm not. You hear me? But if I was, you saw Jimmy Untouchable. No, I don't know any Jimmy Untouchable. My brother is Johnny, but he has Chase the Heat. He's a chili head. He's got a big channel, Chase the Heat. Courtney Suss, right? Look at this. I think that this is what most people are saying. Hey, Jamie Smith, glad that you're here, and I'm glad you caught alive. I think most people are thinking this even if they're not saying it. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm not at all. By the way, I like him, right? I've been on a panel with him now a couple of times. And, before you go live, you have conversations and no one's sitting there and listening to it, But he's a very, very likable guy. He really is. Yeah, you know what? I don't think it's Kid Cudi and I don't think it's Chris Brown. I can't remember who it is either. But it really looked like they were trying to extort somebody who had money, right? And the person who was the alleged attacker, right? The victim had been sending a ton of text messages talking about all the fun they had together. That's odd. Doesn't mean that, but it's really odd. And if that's not a problem, then tell the world that you got those texts and then explain them out. But if you didn't see them, then that's questionable stuff. That's questionable stuff. Oh man, yeah, I know who Jimmy Seville is. He died before his he got away with things until the very end, right? Until the very end. Sadly. And I think, you know what happens? It's the same thing. It's the who cares, right? It's got nothing to do with me. Kids program, I don't watch that stuff, right? Who cares? It's not a part of my life. So when people start talking about it, it's like all of the people when we first start covering the Diddy stuff. I got emails every day. Who cares? Right? The guy's a rapper. He's a hip hop artist. Who cares? He's a guy that has been victimizing men, women, and kids allegedly for 3 decades. And the only way that somebody gets away with that for 3 decades is when an entire society goes, I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to watch it. Just going to let that go. Tommy, can you drop a link to the other YouTube program you mentioned in your live earlier? Not exactly sure which one you're looking for, Joey Girl. If you can remember it, email it to me and I will get you a link because I'm not exactly sure which one we're talking. We talked, the last show that I did, I think we talked about 20 clips or something like that. There was a lot of them. You guys see the first white Diddy party? And one black woman was moving her neck back and forth a few times, going with the music. To me, I think it was so freaking funny. There's a lot of stuff from the yes. Yes, as in Jamal. If anybody, that's the pen name, right? He didn't use his real name. He used a name that most people associate with Tupac. There's the rumor that Tupac got away, right? That he's not dead. He's living somewhere else. And his name is Jamal. What the heck is the last name? I'm spacing it right now. But that's the story. It's Jamal something or other. And that's the name that they ran it under. I'll tell you what. If I could have one question answered in this entire thing, if they said to you, I'm going to get one question no matter what, you ask it about this case, we'll get it figured out right here, right now. The question would be, who leaked the Cassie video? Who sent that to CNN? Because I don't think we put enough people into that pool, right? How do we know Cassie didn't do it? For real. How do we know she didn't do it? How do we know she didn't get it from whoever came out of a safe, right? Could have been so many people. How about Little Rod? He was in that house for what? A year and a half. What if he peeled it, right? Allegedly. Did he like showing people this stuff, right? Here, check this out. This is me and a bodyguard. Allegedly. Check it out. This is me and a bodyguard. That's saying someone from 9 years ago. It's horrifying, right? It's absolutely horrifying. Mercury Hatter says the hotel could have leaked it. You're absolutely right. Here's the problem I have. This is how you got to start thinking about this one. Who gives it away? Huh? They didn't sell that to CNN. Heather Griffin, New Zealand. I love that. Love it. Welcome. Very, very cool. You understand what I'm saying, right? Who would send this off and go, I don't want the $250,000 it's worth? Or I don't know, $500,000? What do you think that tape's worth? For real. To break that story, what do you think that puppy was worth? But they just put it in a manila envelope and mailed it into CNN. Holy heck. That is a stand-up citizen, isn't it? Right? That's a stand-up citizen. Allegedly, the feds didn't have the Cassie video at the time. It was aired on the news. I will tell you something right now. I think they've got the least to gain by leaking it. For real. I think that I wouldn't be surprised if Diddy's camp leaked it. Just so that they could try to get it thrown out. Because if you leak that, and you don't ask for any money and you just mail it off, you can then say, hey, the entire jury pool is tainted because you leaked this to CNN. We want it suppressed. Because if that video is suppressed, you realize we got to go into court and try to convince the world that this guy does actually put hands on women. Then you got to bring in people that allegedly saw it and all that stuff. Nothing like hit and play, right? Because by the way, this was not me that pointed it out. It was somebody in my audience, but I thought it was one of the smartest things I've ever heard. He did that. He put the beat down on that woman in a hall and didn't lose his towel. Think about that. He managed to kick her, punch her, do everything he did, and didn't lose the towel wrapped around his waist. That is absolutely insane. I agree with you. I think a bunch of stuff in the book, I think they wanted to get a lot of that information out, and this is how they got it out. I think it was very real. I just don't think Kim Porter wrote it down. I don't. That's just an opinion. After getting $30 million from Diddy, maybe Cassie bought it and released it. Or maybe Cassie went back the next day. Maybe Cassie had an agent of hers go over and offer him 50, right? Who knows? But again, who would do it for free? That's the first question. And who benefits the most from it? Because if what you're trying to do is taint the jury pool, they're going to keep asking people until they find really lock-ins and people that don't surf the web who are going to go, P who? Right? Diddy? Never heard of him. You're not going to, the idea that you could get every single person that they're going to call to see and watch this video, it's not very realistic. They've never had a case, right, where they couldn't panel the jury. They always manage to find people that are, okay? Jury of his peers. Where would you find a jury of his peers? Danny Masterson? You get him out there. Right? This case is literally Grand Theft Auto with the last clue. Aaron, that's kind of funny. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Open news, feds released Cassie tape to prep us. Receipts. I understand the argument. I don't think any of us needed to be prepped, right? And the attorneys know what's coming, right? So do the feds. The feds know what's coming. There's going to be one lawsuit after another, and there's no gag order because it's not, right? Go ahead and talk about it. These are civil cases. An all Amish jury. Who said that? That's funny. Yeah, that is really funny. You can make that work. The feds are saying it wasn't them. Yeah, they have to, right? Here's the other thing. Would you risk having that piece of evidence thrown out? I don't think there's anybody that's going to risk that. Yeah. And you know what? We don't know that there wasn't a stand-up citizen that worked at that hotel that burned a copy of that at one point or something and just didn't decide, I don't want my name associated with this, but I'm taking him down. You can find a jury of his peers in Freakwood. That's, right? Where would you find a jury of his peers? Anywhere in Hollywood. Just find any entertainers, right? Apparently, they got to bend over, right? You heard this? They got to bend over. There's a initiation / test that they do on these aspiring musicians. Are they called musicians? Hip hop artists, MCs. I don't know what the hell you call them. Do you think several were given copies of the videos? Maybe Courtney was greedy and either tried to get money or talked too much. It's as interesting a theory as any other, right? For real. I think he got absolutely completely played. They handed him the old stuff. They rolled out the new stuff and just, hey, Tommy's opinion. Don't get crazy. This is Tommy's opinion. But what if they sat down in the beginning and he said, tell you what, we'll take all of the money that we make selling the first book, the PG one. Then everybody's going to want to get the R-rated one because it's going to have all the names in there. You can take all of that money, right? You can take, I'll give you the tapes, I'll give you the evidence, all that stuff, and you can just roll with it. That's what I think happened. Somewhere along those lines. I don't think there's any chance on God's green earth he's going to get bail. This is bothering me a little bit too. Do you think maybe he just decided that maybe it's not such a great idea to keep parading these things out. Maybe we've gotten the idea. Honestly, I think everybody, there's 120 of these. Reading the details on every one of them, it's pretty damn ghoulish, in my opinion. But he said he was going to be releasing these things over the next 30 days. I was at that press conference. 30 days where he better get on it, right? He better get on it if he plans on getting all of these out in the next 30 days. I don't see it happening. Bail will not be granted, in my opinion. And here's why I don't think bail will be granted. That beautiful Cassie tape. That's why. That tape, no matter what you say in there, no matter what you say, you look at that tape and go, oh no, you could do that to someone that you say you loved, right? This is someone that you loved. I wouldn't want to see what you do to people that you pissed off at. And then there's he tried to contact somebody 53 times. Now, I'll tell you what, now they're saying 53 times over the course of a 2 or 3 day weekend. That's not what they said the first time. Anytime that it sucks. It sucks when they start putting out info and then you hear the same people tell you something a little different. Misinformation's a bummer, man. They do have the largest amount of discovery I have ever seen. And I would imagine that it would be pretty, I really don't. Boodakaboo, good to see you. I don't know how you could look this up, but there cannot be a case that has more discovery. 96 devices, 9 telephones, right? 96 devices and 9 telephones. And off of 8 of the devices, they took 90 terabytes of information. God help us, right? God help us. They're never, ever going to be able to go through all this stuff. And yeah, I don't think he's going to get bail. I don't think there's any chance at all. I don't. He's a threat to society. If you believe the things that are being said, he might be a serial killer, right? He very well could be a serial killer. He is alleged to have taken out more than 3 people, hasn't he? Oh, yeah, he has. They know Clive is behind this. Well, there's a lot of people that think that Clyde's fairly dirty on this, right? Yeah. There's a lot of people that think that that Clyde set this whole operation up. Now, I think that's nearsighted, right? I think that's nearsighted. Do I think that Clive taught Diddy what he was doing? Absolutely. But I don't think Clive invented it. I think that this has been going on since the very beginning, since they started recording people on any device, right? The second they had the ability to record your voice, someone said, yeah, I'll put your voice on there. If you put your mouth, right? It just started. It just started. Scooter Braun. What about Scooter Braun? I would imagine that he's under a rock, right? Honestly. Scooter Braun, he was a guy that was managing Justin Bieber for a while. Pretty scary stuff. Hold on. My boyfriend keeps insisting the new president will pardon Diddy. That seems unlikely to me. But admittedly, I don't know how the pardons thing works in the USA. Any thoughts, please? What they do, right? What happens with these? The administration going out, right? Not the new administration, but the Biden administration would be much more of a threat to pardon him. But neither party is going to want their name tied to this guy. You know what I mean? They go like this, and they see which way the wind's blowing, and then they go in that direction. I promise you, that's what politicians do. They go with the wind. And right now, the wind hates this dude. And nobody going to want to pardon this guy. Whatever group pardons him will never get elected to anything ever again. I think we're fairly safe that there's no chance in hell that he's going to get. And a lot of people bring it up. Now, I'll tell you something else. This is disturbing, but it's a stone cold fact, right? They do sell them. Make no mistake, they sell them. And that's a bit of a bummer because, that's the old, but it would destroy the party. It absolutely would destroy the party. Hey, Brenda. Will Trump pardon the January 6th guys? Layla, that is above my pay grade. If I had to throw out a guess, I would say 100% he does, but it's above my pay grade. None of Cuffy's zillion friends have spoken up for him, says Diddy. It's the first time in Hollywood that it's ever gotten quiet. Right? For real. It's so silent in Hollywood. It's never been like this, right? People love Hollywood is about being seen, right? Your agent wants you seen. Everything is so that you're more recognizable. Anything like this happens, they come out of the woodwork to start commenting on it. Yeah, I know the guy. He's a dirtbag. I've been telling people my entire life how bad he is. But when that attorney came out and said, I'll bet you there's a bunch of scared people at home right now, because if you ever went to a party at Diddy's house, in any room, you were recorded. You could hear people's body parts slamming all over the country, right? Particularly tall gentlemen who throw balls into hoops for a living. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I watched Dre with Snoop on a 2000 interview, and Dr. Dre was saying someone stole an X-rated tape from his house with Snoop and him in it. Ooh, ouch. Yeah, that's always a bummer, right? That's always a bummer. Here's a great piece of advice. If you got a sex tape, keep it on you, right? Seems to me like everybody that sets one down, somebody steals it. Bulldog, you said it, I didn't. You said it, I didn't. What? Don't all of your sports heroes, don't all the sports stars in the U.S. throw on French-made outfits? And how about the excuse of, you know what, you get loaded. Right? That's legit. You hang around and you get drunk and you start acting stupid. And the next thing you know, some guy's got a lampshade on his head and somebody else is putting on a French maid outfit. Trouble is, this guy's like 6'7", right? How do you just happen to have one of those laying around that would fit somebody 6'7"? Think about that. I just happen to have a dress that would fit. You custom ordered that thing. Don't give me that. Lie to me, man. You custom ordered it. And I'll bet you that the size 19 pumps that he bought with those cost him a fortune. I've seen it 100 times. It's that old chestnut, right? For real. For real. Courtney is sus. That's a great line, kid. Courtney is sus. Ariel sus. Chris Todd. Georgina has spoken, and I kind of agree. I'm sorry, I kind of agree. And I'm not saying these people are lying. You do understand this, right? I'm not. I'm saying I'm uncomfortable. Yep. Yeah, what is my view on the screaming silence of Sean Carter? Sean Carter spent a hell of a lot of time hanging out with Sean Combs, right? That they were inseparable for a while, right? And I don't mean every day. I mean partying. When they got together to party, they got together to party. Poseidon, right? Interesting. Sorry. Missing Mr. Muffins. You know why? Because Charlie Muffins works a job that takes him out of town very often. Yeah. So I would imagine that tonight he is working because he's pretty faithful. Rhonda Rawlings. Have you seen Clown and Candyman? You talking about the old ones? I've seen the old ones. Take care, Dangerous Journeyman. So who's the top of my list? Okay, here's the deal. Now I'm really going to make everybody angry. I want to ask people that everybody believes. There are some questions that I think these people need to be asked. And I think that there's a ton of this can be explained out by the fact that everybody deals with trauma a whole lot different, right? You're not going to get two people. You're not going to get two people that are going to deal with the things in the same way. So it's a little disturbing when you see people who come out and tell you that they're victims, and it really seems like it's an infomercial for them to try to make some cash. It comes off as a bit creepy, and If you don't want to say it here, it's okay, because you said it a bunch in my emails. Yeah, I would like to know who's telling the truth and who's telling the most lies. Poseidon, I'm with you. That's what I would like to know. That's what I would like to know. But as Johnny Scoville asked earlier, that one's a tough one, right? That one's a tough one. I would like to know how that went down. I know we're not going to be able to say. I've actually been told you can't say who hired you, right? She can't give up that information, and you got to respect that, right? I do. And as I said, my default setting is to believe everyone. But then they start saying things where you go, ooh, I don't know, right? I don't know. It just seems really out there. You know, some of the claims seem so unbelievable. I'm not saying they're lying, right? Because I've said this many times. If we went back 5 years, right? Every single thing that Jaguar Wright said would sound absolutely insane. Now that list has gotten a heck of a lot smaller, hasn't it? The top 10 questions we need answered. Sadly, I don't think. Okay, so with the Courtney thing, Courtney needs to tell us, all BS aside, because you didn't get the book the way you said you got the book, right? And you're not even good from keeping that story up from one to the next, to the next, to the next. Rock On says, I believe the Echo clothing guy at Macy's. You know what? I met someone that knew him. Just recently. I'm trying to remember who I was talking to. I just talked to someone that said, yeah, absolutely. Doesn't the statute of limitation run out on the 17th of November to plead with Busby? Yeah, that's when they're like the last shot to file, but they've already extended that a couple of times. They have extended stuff a couple of times. I think this is legit. Georgina says the feds leak. Yeah, I'll get to that one. That's not a bad. They're probably compartmentalizing, emotionally detaching from the trauma so that they can talk about it like robots without feeling the emotions. No shade. I do it too. I think that makes some sense. I think that's probably as solid a theory as any other. So Georgina thinks the feds leaked through CNN to prep before arrest going big. I think if you're the feds and you release that, it's probably dangerous, right? Because he looks at that and goes, holy crap, and may start taking the stuff that he's got and trying to put it places where it's not going to be found, right? It really was giving him a real heads up of what's about to happen, right? Because up to that point, he went out and did I didn't do that. I wouldn't put hands on her. Yeah, we had sometimes rough sex or whatever, but that was part of the relationship that we live, right? That's part of the relationship and the way. Then he had to come out and go, oh yeah. I felt really bad about doing that. Like that was at the lowest point of my life. I went to rehab. I got therapy. When? When did that happen? Because you were denying this crap 2 days ago, right? You got busy. You really got busy. Sorry, feds did leak to CNN to prep. Yes, for the no bail. You know what? It definitely helps for the no bail. But I'll tell you something. Okay? 7 of these in your house, 3 of them with obliterated serial numbers, and all of them with the ability to take 50 and 100 round barrel magazines. Man, they get trippy about that, right? This is the people that say you shouldn't be able to have automatic weapons in your home, right? These are the ones they're talking about. And I'm not getting on the debate, but no matter who you are, the idea that you have the capacity to throw 100 rounds downrange before you have to reload is a bit frightening to me, honestly. And the fact that 3 of the pews had their serial numbers, right, obliterated off of them. What would be the reason for doing that? Because they're stolen, and you don't want them to be able to trace those numbers back to the fact that they're stolen. Or they've already done somebody. right? There's a body on them. You understand? Once they've fired a piece of lead through somebody, right? You want to get the serial number off that. You want to change the barrel, right? Because now all of a sudden, you got a very dangerous piece of equipment. But whatever the reason, or the third one, you're going to go do some dirt, and the plan is to leave that thing there, right? And you don't want them to be able to trace this thing in any way. And I'll tell you something. I promise you, they're going to pull the serial numbers off of those things. They're going to pull the serial numbers off of those things. When you sand it all the way down, what you can't see is when the stamps go into that metal, it does something down below. And I've never seen anybody that where the obliterated number didn't come back. They're always able to get it. They're laser etched, says Bulldog. Well, that may be the case. Whatever it is, you ain't getting rid of it. I promise you ain't getting rid of it. Yeah, no prints, no evidence, right? If you don't have a number on it, that's criminal stuff. It's criminal thinking. Everything about it will lead them to believe that, you know what? This guy's a criminal. This guy's a criminal. By the way, he was already a felon, right? Possession of that particular form of firearm for a felon is going to get you somewhere in the ballpark of low end of 9 to the top end of 15 years. Guaranteed. That would be for one of them. Those super big magazines, that's an enhancement on them, right? The fact that the serial numbers were obliterated, that's an enhancement on them. But I went to the joint for AR, right? That was one of the, I had a lot of stuff, but that was a couple of them were ARs, and they got no sense of humor about those at all, right? You're not there. I don't care who your lawyer is, you're going to prison. That's like a mandatory minimum that they're going to send you away. There's no chance you're going home on felon in possession of a firearm. It's not going to happen. They're going to break you off. He could probably get 30 years for that and that alone. So as you start to argue bail, you go, oh yeah, no, he's just a guy that runs the business. He's got firearms in the house. In Cassie's lawsuit, she said allegedly a bunch of like gangbangers came by the house and said, hey, so-and-so's, downtown or whatever. And he ran over to the closet and started handing these things out like he was in the military. That doesn't sound like a businessman, right? Think Warren Buffett's doing that? For real. I mean, I don't, doesn't sound to me like it's, hello from Australia. Love your streams, Tommy. Robbie, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Boy, we got a really great crew from down under. Journalist Jacqueline Byron connects the murders of John Wayne Gacy in Chicago with the Houston mass murders of Dean Carroll, revealing a network of, oh boy. Oh, you know what? Can you send me that link to TommyScoville@gmail.com? Can you do that for me? TommyScoville@gmail.com. Yeah, rock on. I have heard this, right? That one of Jaguar's benefactors was Warren Buffett. Thank you again, by the way. Jaguar said Warren Buffett is Jay-Z's benefactor. That's another one where I go, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Again, I'm not. And I dig her. I really like her. And I think that some of the stuff, she's definitely releasing info over. I've been watching her forever, right? I've been watching her since she started doing it. And I love watching Netanya, right? Took a bullet in the face, and every single thing she has said is the exact same as she said at the time before, and the exact same as the time before. She's never changed it. She's never added to it. She's never made it cooler. I fear that not everyone is like that. And I think we got a lot of people that you're in the spotlight, and sometimes sometimes the story gets a little better. And I'm not saying the Warren Buffett thing. I'm just saying that you do understand the danger in this, right? The danger in all of a sudden 100,000 people wanting to hear what you say every night, right? People don't want that to go away. And if the story's been told I don't know. It scares me a little bit, people. That's all I'm saying. Knox looking good in green. You've seen LeBron with Warren Buffett? Yeah, doesn't surprise me. But that one makes a little bit more sense to me, right? Because the NBA's got so many people that, that invest in it. But being a benefactor for, I don't know. And I could be wrong. Laura Lou, thank you. Let It Rain says, Jaguar has gone off the rails. Now, nobody get ugly here. Do you understand why people think this? Right? Do you understand why people think this? Maybe Berkshire Hathaway, yeah, his company. What's it up to? What are they trading at now? It's one of those ridiculous stocks that's over $100,000 a share or something. It's not like you're sitting on 200,000 shares of it. She's not lying about that, because Jay-Z is working for Buffett and Wexner, and Diddy is working for Clive. Look, again, what the problem becomes as you add stuff to the story, every single time you go live, you add a little bit more to the story, and people start getting nervous. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not questioning any of but the story gets added to. And all of us, right? All of us have been around for a long time. You probably got kids, right? If not, you were one, right? But when the story continues to get added to, you start questioning. I worry. That's all. I worry. She had a lot of good things to say, but she has said things that are not true. It really discredits her. I'm going to give you an example because people are not wanting to bust out and say this, but this is the one that I get more emails on than anything else. By the way, my biggest hangup is the court thing, and it's probably because I was a convict. That I'm hung up on that. I cannot tell you how hung up I am on that. But you all are hung up on the fact that she escaped Epstein's island twice, that she escaped off of that island twice. I'm not suggesting you couldn't escape off the island, but she wasn't really the type that they were. It was Lolita Island, right? The victims on this island were in their teens. That was what this sick show was about, right? So it just seems like an odd place for her to be kidnapped to. And I'm not. This is what you guys send me, and I will catch crap for it. I'm going to get hate mail for doing it. But I understand, and I understand why no one wants to say it in a chat, because no one wants to take away from the narrative that Diddy's a piece of crap. We want to believe every single bit of this. I do. I'm guilty as hell of it. But I wanted to believe everything that Courtney said. And I'll tell you what, that one, sorry, I can absolutely disprove a lot of what that dude said. I can. No two ways about it. No two ways about it. Or at least see where two different stories have been told. I mean, diametrically opposed stories. Not, it's a little off here. No, man, apples and oranges. If you're going from I received this in 2008 to the author gave it to me a month ago, there's a really, really difficult, how do you make those match up, people? I worry the feds aren't going to give us the whole truth. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I will chalk this up and say this is gospel, right? I have no problem deferring and saying this is as good a theory as any, right? We don't know. We don't understand shadow games. And we hear people, I get more emails from people that say, you need to get Ali Carter on. You need to get Ali Carter on. I feel like a lot of these people to platform someone, I don't know how much help they've gotten, but good God, you need to get help, right? You need to, before you do anything else. I don't know if you guys have ever had a channel, but Get 10 or 15,000 people to watch something that you do, and watch how many of them want to tell you that you're a piece of crap, right? Watch how many of them want to send you emails that are just hateful and awful. And I wouldn't want to bring her on anything that was going to get her that kind of hate. You know what I mean? Especially because I do tap out to, I'm going to believe these people. I'm going to believe that they were victims until I got a reason to believe otherwise. Right? Now, here's an interesting point. She absolutely has said that, right? And on a different podcast, she said she escaped it twice. Now, perhaps she meant the exact same thing. Perhaps she meant that she escaped it with a couple of kids. But again, if the story gets a little more added to it each time, it causes people to send me emails. And they will say a timestamp on this one and a timestamp on that one, and they want me to go look at them. I believe you. I believe you. And again, the only one that I'm not sitting here telling you that Jaguar's lying about anything. I'm not. I promise you. I'm not telling you that Allie Carter is. I don't think Allie Carter is telling anything that isn't true. I think she wholeheartedly believes every single thing that she says, to the point that if it's not true, then boy, oh boy, she needs help. Because I don't see a hint of her being dishonest. But I've watched her enough to see a couple of shows where you just watch and go, oh man, she's going through it. You know what I mean? Like she's having an episode. She's struggling because of memories. And I feel like I just hope that no one's taking advantage of her, right? Again. And I don't mean the same freaking way, but the world wants to platform. We have this thing about wanting to see it, right? We've talked about soft white underbelly on this. You guys watch it, right? So it's a channel you guys watch a lot. I can see it because very often you go from that channel to this channel. You can actually see it in the analytics. But a lot of people watch soft white underbelly. And I have seen some things, right? I have seen some things that are disturbing. Don't be mad at me, Poseidon. Please don't be mad at me, because I'm don't shoot the messenger. The argument is she doesn't give a little bit of info at a time. She gives a massive amount of info at a time. Massive. But then she does it again, and there's massively more. And then there's massively more. And this is, I'm telling you, the emails I get, and I'm not exaggerating. I get these by the dozen. The only one I really get, you guys really, really don't like Ariel Mitchell. I think I probably get everybody. I have not had anybody that reached out to me and said, she's really solid. I think she's really solid. The person that I believe more than anybody else, because I get this question, is Gene Deal. No two ways about it. And I know how people feel about that, right? There are people that think Gene was too far involved. I just believe what the guy says. When I watch him, I don't get any vibe ever that he's BSing. Who are we talking about? Are you talking about Jaguar? Laura Lou says Ariel is trash. Well, and that's just an opinion. People don't get mad. Yeah, Manuel. It's I believe him when. Hold on a second. Yeah, exactly. I tend to believe Gene Deal because he bailed everybody that gets interviewed. There were episodes of this guy being a weirdo going back to college, right? I believe that. I absolutely believe that. We've been watching this for a whole lot, right? A whole lot of time. A lot of people thought that he had a reputation for being a really solid guy, right? He was not thought of as how we look at him now. Right now, we know he's a dirtbag. Right now, there's no doubt about it. But back in the day, yeah, Gene Deal is consistent. Gene Deal is consistent. He doesn't, the story's never changed. It's never swollen. It's never contracted, right? He's just consistent. Yeah, he was a probation officer, which admittedly, too, it's a good point, because that makes a difference. I promise you it does. This man had to write reports, right? This man had to, yeah, this is exactly what I mean. Like, you mean take a junkie off a Skid Row, give him $20 for smack, and then get an interview? Yeah, that would be what I was talking about. Yeah, that's what it. And then look. You know something? I've had, the only reason I've ever gone there is because I've been sent links by people on this channel. The first time I was sent a link, it was for that girl that was wearing a bikini, and she was a kid, and I mean a kid. And she was wearing a bikini that was revealing as hell, right? Just horrifically revealing. And it bordered on CP. Bad form. Bad freaking form. And then the second one that was sent to me, it almost looks like, yeah, there's something hideous about platforming people and celebrating their pain or anything else, right? For the purpose of making a buck, right? Yeah, Squid says, yeah, SWU is disgusting in my opinion. It's hard. It's PTSD is horrific. I honestly, no joke, I don't know anybody that doesn't have PTSD, because the only people that I talk to, outside of YouTube are usually people that have also been locked up. It's so disturbing, says Wolfie. Oh no. BJ Investigates is great. I've particularly liked her dealings with Bam Margera, right? She never seemed like she was mocking him, but she never gave in to the BS either. I thought it was a really incredible. PTSD is bad, and everybody I know has it because prison cranks it out. You're not going to get out of prison without seeing stuff that's going to screw you up for the rest of your life. Plain and simple, you know? Yeah. How bad is this? During the Gulf War, they did studies on PTSD in Baghdad. It was basically the equivalent to people in South Central LA. I think that prison is one of the. Hold on 1 second. Please forgive me, my dear Tommy, and all for repeating myself on feds that Chris Todd are the only receipts I have. Okay. Yeah, Poseidon, and that's completely cool. By the way, I'm not. I really am not differing from you. I'm playing the devil's advocate because I knew that when I put up this thumbnail, no one was going to pop in here and say exactly what they sent me in an email, because it's very easy to do it in an email when your name isn't up for the world. And I'm not mocking anybody. This is human nature. This is absolutely human nature. But I told Johnny Scoble before I went live, I said, I'll be doing this one on my own. I promise you, I will be doing this one on my own. Shushu says, Jag has criticized the Bible and the authors of the books a couple of times now. That was a deal breaker for me. Yeah, you know, there are people who seem to pick different reasons for why they have problems, but a bunch of you have problems. A bunch of you have problems with Jag. None of you. I've never gotten an email about Allie Carter. I've never gotten an email from one person negatively or worried about, other than her safety, but not worrying about the veracity of the things that she says. Never happened. Not once. Right? It's never happened. But Courtney Burgess, holy God. Very few of you believe him. Well, Sarah Paisley, well, thank you. I'm glad that you're here. And I hope that we can get you through folding laundry. Yeah. It absolutely affects the people around you, right? They absolutely, it affects everybody. It really does. And prison is awful because you're going to take home a lot of it with you. You're never going to get away from it. You're never going to get away from it. And even if you don't, even if you're not in the mix, the worst episode for me from prison, I wasn't in that fight. I had nothing to do with it. I watched it from my cell. It was the guy across the hall that was doing it. We were in a lockdown unit. I wasn't anywhere near him, and I relived that crap. He stomped him to death. And the guy was not big. He was a very small guy. In fact, they called him Chihuahua. And this big dude stomped him to death. Were you ever offered to sign up for some inmate drug or physio testing trial when you were in prison? They had done away with that by the time I got to prison. They will not do that in the U.S. They used to, but it's a thing of the past. If they're doing it now, they're lying to us about it, and there's a possibility of that, I promise you. Laura Lou says you don't get to choose what traumatizes you. There's a lot of truth to that. Victims of violent crimes have PTSD, and their perps need to be in prison. Someone in my family was almost murdered, and I agree. They should be in prison. Absolutely. Unfortunately, what happens is in that same prison are dudes that just stole stuff, right? Or guys that drove weed across 4 state borders because they were trying to pay rent. We end up with a lot of people in there that probably should never be near those violent criminals, and unfortunately, it's just you're going to be near them. It's just how it works. They can't do the cool people over here, and it just doesn't work that way. You're in with the killers. It's just how it goes down. Just how it goes down. Jag said herself she is a witch. Takes one to know one, she said, whilst talking about Beyonce. Yeah. She's also gone the other way on it. Hey, Shelly, good to see you. I am hanging in there. I'm making it. I had a tough run, but I'm not, Quibs and I are talking again, which has made life a lot easier. It really has. The term shell-shocked, my family and I would be more familiar personally, historically. We had a record 17 people serve in wars. Wow. Holy crap. Have you ever heard George Carlin talk about shell-shocked? He said that was back when we used to call them the way it is. And then we just kept adding syllables to it, adding syllables to it until it became post-traumatic stress disorder. And the way he said it, it made it sound like you really want to get it. Jaguar isn't a perfect messenger. She's an excellent communicator, right? One of the best I've ever seen in my life. True story. That woman holds an audience like no one alive. When you start watching her, you're going to watch, and you're going to watch until it's over. It's just how it is. Yeah, the softening of language by Carlin. Carlin was amazing. He really was. All right, peeps. That takes us to about an hour and a half, and I am going to go and catch a little sleep. Are you worried about Uncle Ron? You think Uncle Ron's a little sus? I'd love to hear why, just out of curiosity. Thoughts on getting pneumonia? I think that if you hammer someone's immune system, right? If you hammer someone's immune system, they're susceptible to illnesses that are going to go in there and take them over. It's like when people used to get, when you went from HIV to full-blown AIDS, AIDS doesn't kill you. It takes your immune system down and other things kill you. And it was usually some form of pneumonia. So I think that the poison, allegedly, the poison that was being used sort of weakens the immune system to the point where all of a sudden, that they're going to be very susceptible to pneumonia. And boy, oh boy, a lot of people, right? A lot of people seem to have gotten pneumonia around him. Really, really ugly. Alrighty, people. I agree with you, Ann. She's absolutely fighting for the good cause. And you know something else? You can say what you will, but if it wasn't for Jaguar, I don't know where we'd be, because nobody was screaming about this before she was. Nobody, right? For real. She's been singing this song since before it was a song, man. For real. And you know what? On the way out, smack that like button. I think that's probably the third time I've said that ever. And go ahead and hit subscribe, people. Right? Do me a favor. We're almost at 27,000. I kind of like to hit it. Alrighty, peeps. I am Tommy, and I will see you on the next one. All right. All right.